follows Nora, who is a cutthroat literary agent. I don't know why I struggle so much with that word. Hello, I'm Beck Joey and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. This is the channel where I paint my face, turn my camera on and talk about some books. It is almost the end of October at the time that I am filming this, and I think by the time this goes live, it will be November, which means we are so close to the end of 2022, and my God, it could not come soon enough. This year has been an interesting one, full of lots of highs and lots of lows, and I am kind of excited for the end of it and kind of excited to kickstart 2023 with just positive vibes, everything going well. But before that happens, I wanted to create a quick 5-book end of the year TBR. So I'm just gonna jump straight in without dilly-dallying or dawdling, and I have not said that in a really long time, with the first book on this TBR, which is Thunderhead by Neal Shusterman. This is a book that I wanted to put on here because I enjoyed Scythe so unexpectedly much that I kind of wanted to continue that high with another book in that series that I hope I will enjoy just as much. If you don't already know, Thunderhead is the second book in the Scythe series by Neal Shusterman, which is set in a world where essentially humanity has defeated death. This has resulted in the creation of a group called the Scythedom, which are a group of people who are authorized to randomly select members of the population to glean or kill in order to sort of maintain the population and keep a handle on like the number of people. We follow Citra and Rowan, who are two teenagers, I think, who are taken on as apprentices by Scythe Faraday, only to find out that each Scythe is actually only allowed one apprentice. So in a power struggle kind of move, Citra and Rowan are told that at the end of their apprenticeship, one of them will have to glean the other. And then Scythe Faraday mysteriously goes missing, and the two apprentices are taken on by different Scythes, and the way they grow and change under this new mentorship is really fascinating. And I love the whole utopia-dystopia complex and how, you know, in a society's effort to create a utopia, a dystopia is often born. So I'm really fascinated by this whole series, and I'm really enjoying it so far. So I'm excited to jump into the second one. The next book on my end of the year TBR is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. This is Emily Henry's latest release. It is a contemporary romance, and I'm super excited to read it. It follows Nora, who is a cutthroat literary agent. I don't know why I struggle so much with that word. And her whole life is books. Our hero is a guy named Charlie, who is an editor with a gift for creating bestsellers. He is also Nora's work nemesis. So we've got a bit of an enemies to lovers situation here. After a string of dating duds, Nora and her sister decide to go on a month-long vacation to Sunshine Falls, and Nora hopes to bump into cute bartenders, sexy doctors, lumberjacks, but instead she keeps bumping into Charlie, and she just can't get this guy out of her head. I love the last line on this blurb. It's, she's no heroine, he's no hero, so can they take a page out of an entirely different book? And I love the fact that in the first chapter alone, which I read as part of a try a chapter tag I did recently, you can tell that as a literary agent, Nora is so aware of romance tropes, and she really makes fun of them and makes comparisons between her life and romance tropes and how her life isn't living up to the tropes that she's always reading about, and it's honestly so entertaining. Next up, we have Daisy Jones and the Six, which I only recently bought after absolutely loving The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, like forever ago when I initially read it. That's annoying, that sticker won't come off. As for what this is about, I know vaguely, but I'm just going to read from the blurb because I don't know in detail. I know it sort of follows the collapse of a band called Daisy Jones and the Six, and it's set in like the 70s, but it says, everybody knows Daisy Jones and the Six. Their sound defined an era. Their albums were on every turntable. They sold out arenas from coast to coast. Then on the 12th of July 1979, Daisy Jones walked barefoot onto the stage at the Whiskey, and it all came crashing down. Everyone was there, everyone remembers it differently. Nobody knew why they split until now. And I mean, part of the reason why I want to read this so badly is I think there's actually a TV show or a movie starring Sam Claflin and a few other people that I can't remember the name of that's coming out soon, or at least it's being advertised at the moment. So I do want to read this before I watch that. Next up is a book that I don't think anyone's going to be surprised to see on this list, and it is Babel by R.F. Kuang. This is like out of the 3 or 4 highly anticipated releases this year, being like House of Sky and Breath, Gallant, Babel, and there's one other that I can't remember the name of, I'm sure of it. This is definitely one of the most up there in terms of how it's been universally raved about. Like, I haven't heard a single person say they didn't like this book. Naturally, that tells me I really need to pick this up, and I'm absolutely obsessed with the Illumicrate edition that I got of it, which has like the inside of Babel or the tower on the front there and on the back, and then it's got like the text on the spine. It's just, I mean, look at it's a beautiful, beautiful edition, and I'm so excited to finally get around to reading this. As for what this is about, I genuinely have no idea, so I'm gonna read you the blurb from Goodreads, and it says, "An act of translation is always an act of betrayal. 1828, Robin Swift, orphaned by cholera in Canton, is brought to London by the mysterious Professor Lovell. There he trains for years in Latin, ancient Greek, and Chinese, all in preparation for the day he'll enroll in Oxford University's prestigious Royal Institute of Translation, also known as Babel. Babel is the world's center of translation and, more importantly, of silverworking, the art of manifesting the meaning lost in translation through enchanted silver bars to magical effect. Silverworking has made the British Empire unparalleled in power, and Babel's research in foreign languages serves the Empire's quest to colonize everything it encounters. Oxford, the city of dreaming spires, is a fairy tale for Robin, a utopia dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge. But knowledge serves power, and for Robin, a Chinese boy raised in Britain, serving Babel inevitably means betraying his motherland." I'm gonna stop there because I don't want to completely know what this is about, because I want to save that for actually discovering it in the book, but I'm so intrigued by that blurb. I think that's actually the first time I've read it, and I'm so excited to see if I love this book as much as everybody else has. And the very last book on this list is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. This is actually a Fairy Loot exclusive edition. I think it's the most recent Fairy Loot exclusive, I think, but I'm not 100% sure. And I know India over at What India Read really loved this when she included it in a video she's put out recently, so I'm hoping I love it just as much. I believe it's sort of like a fantasy romance but with like gothic vibes. But as for what it's about, it says, "For as long as Signa Farrow has been alive, the people in her life have fallen like stars. Orphaned as a baby, 19-year-old Signa has been raised by a string of guardians, each more interested in her wealth than her well-being, and each has met an untimely end. Her remaining relatives are the elusive Hawthorns, an eccentric family living at Thorn Grove, an estate both glittering and gloomy. Its patriarch mourns his late wife through wild parties, while his son grapples for control of the family's waning reputation, and his daughter suffers from a mysterious illness. But when their mother's restless spirit appears claiming she was poisoned, Signa realizes that the family she depends on could be in grave danger, and enlists the help of a surly stable boy to hunt down the killer. Signa's best chance of uncovering the murderer, though, is an alliance with Death himself, a fascinating, dangerous shadow who has never been far from her side. Though he's made her life a living hell, Death shows Signa that their growing connection may be more powerful and more irresistible than she ever dared imagine." And I mean, this edition I absolutely love. Like, I love these sort of end papers. I love how the flowers are printed onto the hardback. The sprayed edges I think are really pretty as well. And the back as well, I love that. "Your name is no cursed little bird. I just like the taste of it." I think that's such a cool quote. But yeah, hopefully I love this book just as much as other people I know have loved it. So these are the 5 books that I'm hoping to read before the end of this year. I feel like we've got a decent amount of variety. We've sort of got like academic fantasy sort of vibes, gothic fantasy romance, dystopia, contemporary romance, and then a sort of historical fiction kind of thing as well. So I'm super excited to pick up all of these. I had to put those down because they were so heavy. But let me know what books you are planning to read before the end of this year, if you have a TBR like this one, or even just let me know what you're planning to read in November. I would love to know because I love talking to you guys and I do my best to reply to every single comment. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please do let me know by liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell all down below. It is a super easy way to help my channel grow, and I will see you lovely people in my next video. Bye!